So, we meet again. Hey, you guys. We'll get started in the usual 5 minutes at 2 o'clock East Coast time. If it looks a little, my screen looks a little dark today, it's because it's pouring out in New York City today. Horrible day. And I'm not getting any, I usually get natural light from the sun coming in to light my face, but there's no light today, so it might be a little bit dark. Hi, Alex. Hi, Maya. Hey, Athavan. How you doing? Glad you could make it. Philip, glad to see you. And Maria in Texas is here to join us for today. Xavier in New Jersey. I'll bet the weather's nicer in Texas. Javen and Johan are here. And thanks for joining me today. Georgia, Carrie in Georgia is here. And the Hajars are here. Jack and John are watching. Hi, Jack. Hi, John. Emmett in Wisconsin. How's the weather in Wisconsin, Emmett? Nora and Eloise are here. We're going to get started. And the Tuttles are here from Michigan. We're going to get started in about 4 minutes or so. Hudson and Cooper are here. Gianluca and Mateo. Happy Friday from Cassidy. Happy Friday to you, Cassidy. The Bell kids are here. Thank you. And Noel and Declan are here. And so am I. Ben in Westfield. I am staying dry, thank you. Jayla and Sophia are here. Abigail and Chester in Holly Springs, North Carolina. What's the weather like? Alex and Zach. Sunny Bunny. Okay. Stephanie in New Jersey is here. And Brady the dog. Can't get started without Brady. All right. The O'Connell family. And Tyler in New York. I bet it's raining where you are too, Tyler. Molly in Evanston, Illinois. What's the weather like in Evanston? Missed something there. Evan from Minnesota is here. And Malia in Nashville. We'll get started in about 3 minutes or so. Lyra, hi. Patrick and Evelyn in Boca. It's hot there. Okay. Oliver in Philly. Yeah, give me your weather report wherever you are. Neil, Luke, and Kit are here. And Daniel. All right. Jay from New Jersey. I bet it's raining in New Jersey. Billy Sickle says hi. All right, Billy. Now we can get started. Madeline is here. And Alina in Henderson, Nevada. Jolie. Hi. Daniel Cashin. All right. Phoenix is here from Virginia. Grant, also in Virginia. Okay. Rhea in Atlanta. We got about 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes until go time, which is 2 o'clock East Coast time. Hello from Michigan, Bryce. Jay in New Jersey. Erin, I see you all. I didn't know that Billy Sickles lived in Washington. And Ethan is here. Okay. Pouring in South Jersey. Thank you, Leo. Thank you for the South Jersey weather report. It's sunny in Michigan. Somebody's in California, Serrano. It's hot in Myrtle Beach. Feels like 99. Ugh. Mallory and Magnolia. I can't take the heat. Colin and Cora. We got about a little bit more than a minute to go. Lots of rain in Cherry Hill. Okay. The Markwood crew in Florida are here. They're always here. Srikar. Thanks for tuning in, Srikar. It's not raining where Billy Bob is, wherever that is. Ethan. Okay. All right. We should do weather reports all the time. Eden and Aaron in New Jersey are watching. It's hot where Letitia is. Okay. It's rainy, rainy in New Jersey. I'm not sure if rainy is what it is or what somebody's name is, but Kate and Alex are here. Aditi is here. We got about a minute to go or so. Kenan from Turkey. Gavin and Zoe say hi from Long Valley, New Jersey. Billy Bob says it's not raining. The Shoemaker kids from Illinois are here. Rohan and Rishi in Connecticut. Let's see. Ooh, we got. Oh, my eyesight isn't that good. Oh, we got 15 seconds left. It's almost time. Sorry, I got to stop paying attention to you guys. I mean, your messages is what I'm saying. Oh, 10 seconds. Okay. 9, 8, 7. Okay. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's go time, baby. Hi. Dan Gutman here. I am the guy who writes the My Weird School series. and lots of other books for kids too. And welcome to number 84 in my weird read aloud. 84, heading for 100. And today is Friday, and you know what that means. We're going to finish our book today. But first, our question of the day, which comes from, coincidentally enough, Cooper. And Cooper asks, Cooper lives in Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Cooper asks, do your kids want to be writers like you? The answer is no. No, actually, my daughter Emma, she is 25 years old now, and she is working on a master's degree at New York University. She's studying museum studies. She wants to work in museums. That's what she's doing. And my son Sam, he is a musician. He teaches and he belongs to a band called Out of the Beard Space. And every summer they have a festival called Beard Fest, which is going to be canceled this summer, sadly. But you could still see Out of the Beard Space on, you can find them on Spotify. They have a presence on Facebook and social media. So that's what he does. So thank you for your question, Cooper. And now it's time for us to start our book of the week, which is Mr. Cooper is Super. If you've been following, you know what's going on. The book started out with the third grade teacher, Mr. Granite, being picked up by a spaceship and taken back to his home planet. So he's no longer the third grade teacher. They needed a new third grade teacher, and that is Mr. Cooper, who seems to think that he is a superhero, wears a cape, but he's like kind of clumsy and doesn't really have any real superpowers. But he's a pretty good teacher. He taught the kids all about rats. He taught them all about how it's important for you to return your library books. And my weird school books don't usually have a theme, you know, but this one kind of has a theme. And the theme is that when you borrow something, you should return it. Okay? So that's where we left off, and it's time to pick this thing up with chapter 9. We're going to do 9 and 10 today and finish this thing. Chapter 9 is titled, The Truth About Mr. Cooper. All right, you guys ready? Gather around your big screen TV, your laptop, your tablet, smartphone, whatever it is. Let's do this thing. We were in the vomitorium eating lunch. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Michael had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Neil and Alexia had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. In case you were wondering, we all had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Well, everyone except Ryan. He had a jelly and peanut butter sandwich. He likes to do things backward. One time, Ryan invented the witch sand, which is a sandwich with the stuff on the outside and the bread in the middle. Mr. Cooper is weird, I said to the gang. He's always falling down and tripping over his own feet. He's kind of a doofus, said Ryan. We all laughed because doofus is a funny word. It's hard to say doofus without laughing. Yeah, superheroes aren't supposed to fall down so much, said Alexia. Shh, whispered Neil. Mr. Cooper might hear you. How could he possibly hear us? Asked Michael. Maybe he has super hearing, whispered Neil. He told us he can make himself invisible. He may be standing behind us right now. We all turned around. Mr. Cooper wasn't there. Just to be on the safe side, I took a pen and wrote a secret message on my napkin. I showed my napkin to the gang, and here's a picture of AJ writing on his. Everybody's gathered around while AJ's writing on his napkin secret messages, so Mr. Cooper can't eavesdrop on them. I showed my napkin to the gang. They all grabbed pens and started writing secret messages on their napkins. Okay, so here's Alexia's secret message. Oops. Okay, and here's Ryan's secret message. And here's Michael's secret message. And here's Neil's secret message. And then HA writes one more secret message. Wait, where is it? Got to pick up my secret message. At the next table, Andrea and Emily were looking over at us. "What are you doing?" Andrea asked. "We're writing secret messages," I told her, "so Mr. Cooper can't use his super hearing to listen to what we're saying." "Oh." Andrea sat back down. She had on her worried face, like she was expecting an asteroid to strike the Earth or something. "What's bugging you?" I asked her. "Did you get an A- or something?" "I'm worried about Mr. Cooper," Andrea replied. "What about him?" "My mom is a psychologist," Andrea said, "and she told me that when people dress up in costumes all the time, it's because they're sad and lonely and don't like their own lives." "What? That's crazy," I said. "Maybe Mr. Cooper just likes dressing up in superhero costumes." "Or maybe he really is a superhero," said Alexia. "Or maybe he's just sad and lonely and he needs a hug," said Emily. "Well, how are we going to find out which it is?" asked Neil the nude kid. That's when I came up with the greatest idea in the history of the world. "Let's go sneak around and spy on him," I suggested. "Yeah," everybody agreed, even Andrea and Emily. Spying on people is cool. We cleaned off our trays and sneaked out of the vomitorium. Then we sneaked down the hallway. Then we sneaked over to the classroom. I was the first one to peek inside. I saw Mr. Cooper through the little window in the door. "He's in there," I told the gang. "Shh!" Everybody shushed me. "What's he doing?" asked Andrea. "It looks like he's eating a sandwich," I reported. And here's Jim's picture of Mr. Cooper in his office eating a sandwich while the kids are spying on him through the door. "What kind of sandwich?" asked Ryan, who is really into sandwiches. "Who cares what kind of sandwich he's eating?" asked Alexia. "It could be important," said Ryan. "It doesn't matter what kind of a sandwich he's eating," said Michael. "It does too." "It does not." We went back and forth like that for a while. As we were arguing, the door suddenly opened and Mr. Cooper came out. "What are you kids doing here?" he asked. "Shouldn't you be eating in the lunchroom?" I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I had to think fast. "Aha!" I said. "We caught you." "Caught me doing what?" asked Mr. Cooper. "We caught you eating a sandwich," I said. "Superheroes need to eat too," said Mr. Cooper. "We need to keep up our super strength." "Why don't you eat in the teacher's lounge?" asked Neil. "Yeah," said Alexia. "Why don't you eat in the teacher's lounge?" "The door was locked," Mr. Cooper told us. "Mr. Klutz didn't give me a key yet." "Why didn't you use your super strength to kick the door down to the teacher's lounge?" asked Ryan. "Yeah," said Michael. "If you were a real superhero, you would kick down the door." Michael had a point. Besides, kicking down doors is cool. On cop shows, they never use the doorknob to open a door. They just kick it down. What's up with that? When cops are... See, the cops are here right now. It always happens. What is that? When cops are at home with their families, do they kick down the doors whenever they enter a room? I tried to kick down a door once, but I hurt my foot. "If I kick down the door to the teacher's lounge, we'd have to get a new door," said Mr. Cooper. He was right about that. "Do you need a hug?" Andrea asked Mr. Cooper. "I can always use a hug," he replied. "Will you give me a super hug?" We all gave Mr. Cooper a big hug, but I still don't trust him. He always has some excuse for not using his superpowers. I was beginning to think that maybe Mr. Cooper wasn't a superhero after all. Maybe, for a change, Andrea was right. And here's a picture of all the kids giving Mr. Cooper a super hug. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 9. Are you ready for the last chapter of the book, which is titled The Big Surprise Ending? Ooh! All right, here we go. You want pins and needles? Well, get off those pins and needles. That would hurt. The next morning, Mr. Cooper came running into our classroom. He told us he was Lava Man, and he taught us all about volcanoes. Then he ran out of the room and came back as Weather Man. He taught us all about meteorology. Then he ran out of the room and came back as Electric Man. He taught us all about electricity. It's fun to learn stuff from a superhero, whether he's a real superhero or not. At recess, Mr. Cooper and Mrs. Rupee were the teachers on duty. We were all on the swings, minding our own business, when the weirdest thing in the history of the world happened. "Look, up in the sky!" yelled Andrea. "It's a bird," yelled Emily. "It's a plane," yelled Alexia. "No, it's a spaceship," yelled Ryan. Ryan was right. It was a spaceship. In fact, it looked just like the Mr. Granite's spaceship. And it was coming right down over the playground. "The Mr. Granites are back!" shouted Michael. "I'm scared," said Emily, who's scared of everything. "They're going to take over the world and turn us into flesh-eating robots," I shouted. "They're going to turn us into killer zombie robot slaves," shouted Michael. "Run for your lives," shouted Neil the nude kid. Everybody was freaking out. What could the Mr. Granites possibly want this time? "If only there was a real superhero to save us," said Andrea. Andrea looked at Mr. Cooper. Ryan looked at Mr. Cooper. Michael looked at Mr. Cooper. Alexia looked at Mr. Cooper. In case you were wondering, everybody was looking at Mr. Cooper. "Leave it to me," Mr. Cooper announced, taking a step forward. "I am Cooperman." Oh no, I thought, we're done for. Smoke poured out of the spaceship. Colored lights were flashing. There was a weird humming sound. The spaceship touched down in the middle of the playground. All the smoke and lights and humming stopped. Then the ramp slid down from the bottom of the spaceship. "Stand back, everyone," said Mr. Cooper. "I'll handle this." Mr. Cooper walked over to the end of the ramp. And here's Jim's picture of Mr. Cooper walking to the end of the ramp of the spaceship. The door to the spaceship opened. We were all on pins and needles. Well, not really. We were standing up. If we were on pins and needles, it would have hurt. But you should have been there. Electricity was in the air. Well, not exactly. If there was electricity in the air, all of us would have been electrocuted. But it was really exciting. Mr. Granite came out of the spaceship and down the ramp. Well, I think it was Mr. Granite. It could have been one of the other Mr. Granites. It could have been anybody from planet Etenarg. They all look alike. In any case, one of those creatures that looked just like Mr. Granite came down the ramp. "Greetings, Earthling," said the Mr. Granite look-alike. "Who are you?" "I am the new third-grade teacher at elementary school," said Mr. Cooper. "Did you come back to destroy the Earth?" "No." "Did you come back to take over the world and turn us into flesh-eating robots?" asked Mr. Cooper. "No." "Did you come to turn us into killer zombie robot slaves?" Mr. Cooper asked. "No." "Then why did you come back to Earth?" "When I left the other day," said Mr. Granite, "I forgot to give back my key to the teacher's lounge." "When you borrow something, you should always return it." "Like library books," yelled Mrs. Rupee. Wow. Mr. Granite traveled 1,100,000 light years just to bring back the key to the teacher's lounge. That was weird. Mr. Granite handed Mr. Cooper the key. And here's Jim's picture of Mr. Granite handing the key back to Mr. Cooper so he could get into the teacher's lounge. "Thank you," said Mr. Cooper. "Now I don't have to eat my lunch in the classroom anymore." Mr. Granite turned around and went back up the ramp into the spaceship. The door closed behind him. We all breathed a sigh of relief. I felt like this called for a celebration. "Mr. Cooper saved the Earth!" I shouted, jumping up and down. "Hooray for Mr. Cooper! Hooray for Mr. Cooper! Hooray for Mr. Cooper!" I figured everybody was going to jump up and down chanting "Hooray for Mr. Cooper" with me. I looked around. Nobody else was jumping up and down. Nobody else was chanting. Everybody was looking at me. I hate when that happens. I stopped chanting. Smoke poured out of the spaceship. Colored lights were flashing. There was a weird humming sound. Then the window of the spaceship opened. "Goodbye again," Mr. Granite yelled over to us. "Goodbye, Mr. Granite," we all yelled. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The spaceship lifted off. It zoomed to the left. It zipped to the right. And then it was gone forever. Well, that's pretty much what happened. Maybe another spaceship will land in the playground someday. Maybe Mr. Granite will grow some hair out of his ears. Maybe cops will start using the doorknob instead of kicking down doors all the time. Maybe they'll come up with some different names for the people who live on the planet Etenarg. Maybe the aliens will come back and turn us into flesh-eating robots. Maybe Mr. Klutz will learn what a joke is. Maybe grown-ups will stop saying they're stuck in traffic all the time. Maybe cows will stop bumping into spaceships. Maybe regular people will start wearing capes. Maybe aliens will stop peeling their faces off all the time. Maybe Mr. Cooper will use his heat vision to cook hot dogs with his eyes. Maybe a pink elephant wearing a tutu will come into our classroom and sing John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Maybe Wilbur the rat will come visit our class again. Maybe Mrs. Ruppy will admit that she's really super librarian. Maybe Andrea will stop complaining about violins. Maybe our real teacher will escape from the burning barn. Maybe I will give back Michael's football. Maybe Mr. Cooper will stop running into doors, falling down, and being such a doofus. But, and read the last sentence with me, you guys. It won't be easy. We did it, you guys. We finished the whole book. And not only did we finish the whole book, this is number 1 in the series. We finished the whole series. In the last 3 months, you and I together, we read the entire My Weirdest School series. I had this whole box set, and now it's just an empty box because I gave all the books away. And I'm going to give this one away too. Over the weekend, I'll have some contest. I'll give this one away. So go to my Facebook fan page and enter the contest. And I guess this box, it's pretty much useless now. What am I going to do with it? I guess there's only one thing to do with it, right? It makes a lovely hat. Okay, so let's see. Our next book is going to be next week on Monday. We're going to start with the summer special, Bummer in the Summer. That's going to be fun. And what else? After that, we have 2 more weeks to go with My Weird Read Aloud. And I'm not sure what books we're going to read. I might ask for your feedback to help me with that. But before we finish, let's do our joke of the day. Okay, ready for the joke of the day? It comes from Scotty in Kentucky. Scotty's joke is, all right, it's, what has 4 wheels and flies? What has 4 wheels and flies? Give up? A garbage truck. Get it? All right. Okay, that's the joke. You can blame that one on Scotty. And let's thank Josh Salzman and Ryan Cunningham for our theme song, okay? To finish the week. You know it. You love it. Let's do it, okay? How does it go? You know. Start it without me.
And the lady is zany, and
Oh man, is that man nuts?
My weird school, 1,100,000 hours long. My weird school, where normal things do not belong. My weird school, where art is cool, and the teachers are strange as a rule. And my weird school. My weird school. Oh yeah, it's my weird school.
All right, you guys. See you next week on Monday. Same time, same place. Until then, have a great weekend. Wash your hands like crazy and read like crazy too, okay? Bye.